Are you emotionally intelligent? Like, in other words, do you quickly notice when a friend or family member's feeling down? Are you able to have a bit of a spidey sense about, what other people are feeling? Or are you able to control your reaction by focusing on your thoughts when in the middle of an argument? Or are you like me and you get emotionally, waylaid? And so when I'm emotionally charged like that, I find it very difficult to think thoughts and to be able to articulate myself when I'm in an argument. You see, emotional intelligence is not just the ability to understand your own emotions, but also to be able to see other people's emotions and make it easy to connect with other people. You can make rational decisions and you can control your emotions when you have a high EQ. Now, in this video, you're going to discover 5 effective phrases that's used by very highly emotional, intelligent people that you can apply in any area of your life. So welcome back to another video. My name is Natalie Ledwell. I'm the co-founder of Mind Movies and I'm a personal development coach. And today I want to help you use the power of emotional intelligence so that you can master a ton of things, like how to positively influence other people. Be a pretty handy skill, right? How to diffuse conflict, especially being able to have conscious conversations about unconscious topics, which is really cool. How to build stronger relationships, and don't we all want that? How to turn intentions into actions, and how to make better decisions. And also how to manage stress, because no one's having any stress these days, right? All right, so that's what we're going to be covering today. And if this is your first time here, welcome. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. So the first phrase that you need to memorize, especially if you want to show empathy and build a stronger relationship, is tell me more. So tell me more is a way that you can reassure the other person in a conversation that you're interested and that you're listening. Often we'll be in a conversation where you're just waiting to speak, or you're just so connected and so in your own opinion that you can't even hear the other person. But when you use a phrase like tell me more, then what you're doing is going, you know what? I'm willing to set everything aside for a moment and to open up and to actually listen to what you're saying. So, you want to avoid the temptation to turning the focus of a conversation from the other person to yourself. The other person really wants to be able to feel like they're being heard. So set yourself up for silence, which, as you'll see in a moment, is a very powerful tool that emotionally intelligent people use. It's one of the tools in their toolbox. So just imagine any conversation that you've had, especially if it turned awkward. How did you show up in that? Were you willing to listen to the other person's point of view, or were you just waiting to speak? Imagine replacing your answer or your opinion with that 3-word phrase, tell me more, and see how that actually opens up the conversation for the other person to be able to feel like it's a safe space for them to be able to share. So for example, if a friend told you, it's really hard to focus on work right now because I'm stuck at home with the kids are still doing virtual school and they're on the computer all day and the house is crazy. Now, most of us, when we hear that, are going to go into our automatic response, which is matching their issues with our own issues, and go, wow, it's really hard in our house too, and then start to go into your little story as well. Or we're thinking of a solution to their challenges. And so someone's venting, they're telling you what's going on. And then you're like, well, can't you just have your kids downstairs? Or can't you just tell them that you need some mummy time or whatever that is? And so we're trying to solve the solution without really listening. Neither of those things is listening. And so when someone's venting like that and someone really needs to release, holding space is one of the best things you could do as a friend. Now, holding space means listening without actually responding unless asked to respond. Making it feel like people can tell you anything without being judged, and that you won't be, telling other people, and that it's a safe space for them to do that. All right, so that was number 1. Number 2, the next little phrase, which is great for, showing high emotional intelligence, is to say the words, thanks for understanding. So, you want to try using this phrase as a replacement to sorry. Now, no, I'm not saying that you should never apologize, because there are moments and lots of situations where sorry is important to say. If you've offended someone and you need to make amends, you should absolutely say, I'm sorry. But the thing is, many of us use that word way, way, way too often when we don't really mean to offer an apology. So let's say that you said something like, sorry I missed our meeting, or sorry I can't meet the deadline, or sorry I didn't go to your party. You were probably taught when you were a child that if you say sorry for something, that means I'm sorry and I'm never going to do it again. But I bet in these scenarios, like the meeting or the party, you're going to miss more meetings and you're going to miss parties in the future, right? There will be deadlines that you won't meet. So really consider instead on how the message changes if you phrase each of these examples like, my spouse needed my help on something at the last minute, so I missed the meeting. Thanks for understanding. Okay, so you're offering, an explanation for what happened and say, thanks for understanding, because now it's not like I can't guarantee that it's not going to happen again, but thank you for understanding, the explanation that I had. Or you could say, we have so many commitments right now and shipments are delayed, so I don't think we're going to meet your deadline. Thanks for understanding. Again, you're saying your explanation and then the phrase at the end. Or the last one, I really wanted to go to your party, but one of the kids wasn't feeling well. So thanks for understanding. It's a very subtle little thing, but this phrase combines gratitude, sympathy, all in one package, and it's really, really powerful. So I highly recommend that you start to add this to your repertoire. Okay, number 3 is actually hello. So now you're probably thinking, hello? Doesn't everybody say hello? Well, when you notice it, and now that I've actually mentioned this, I'm sure that you're going to notice this now, people don't actually say hello. Pay attention to how people open conversations. And you'll see that more often than not, they'll start with open-ended questions, things like, how are you doing? I know that's what I do. I'm like, how are you doing? Or what's going on? Or how are you? It's the rare person who will actually give you a real answer. Because our default and our automatic thing is when someone goes, how's it going? You'll go, good. So you won't go into like an honest answer like, oh God, I got a headache and the engine light is on and my daughter got some good news the other day about her college applications and blah, 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 blah. There are so many, people don't actually stop, because when they ask an open question like that, it doesn't sound like they really want to know the answer. And I suppose it depends on who it is, but more often than not, if you're truly a friend or truly interested, maybe you want to know this, but most of the time people will not go into a real answer to those questions. They'll just go into a default. We ask these conversation openers expecting phrases like, good and you, or nothing bad, or, nothing's going on, or, I'm good, I'm great, and that they're just automatic responses. So here's a couple of things that you could say instead. You could say something like, hello, great to see you, thanks for coming by. Or, see, when we're asking these kind of things, these are like neutral positive messages. And they're not centered on myself and they're not centered on you. So try them out and see if you notice an improvement. And really take notice of how people don't actually say hello. It's quite astounding when you start to take notice. All right, so number 4, this next phrase is a really good one. And I like this because I do this a lot in the way that I teach and the way that I coach. And the phrase is, am I making sense? So another super powerful phrase that you can use instead of, do you understand? Or do you have any questions? So imagine if I have to explain something that's really complicated to you. Now at the end of it, I can ask 3 different things. Now with these 3 things, there is a subtle message in each of these phrases. So what do you think when I mean, do you have any questions? Now most people, when they're asked this question, will go, no, I don't have any questions. Now the reason they do that is because it takes courage to be the first person to ask, or it takes courage to actually put up your hand or to actually ask a question. So why would I want to create that kind of a hurdle for other people in that conversation? Okay, I want to make it really easy for them. The second thing is like, do you understand? And when you do that, it can really put people on the defensive, because the subtle message in that is that I'm implying that you don't understand, or that I think that you don't understand, and that you didn't get the message clearly, which may not be the case at all. Okay, and then the final phrase is, am I making sense? Well, this is very powerful because it is a phrase of humility. We're shifting the presumption that, you didn't understand and that you have any questions. And if there has been a breakdown in the communication, that might have been my fault or the person who's speaking, as opposed to the other person's fault, I want to open it up so it makes it easy for you. It's like, am I making sense? Now, if they say no, you go, great, and then you can go in, because this phrase is basically saying, I'm the one that didn't communicate well, so it's on me to be able to do it better. It makes it so much easier for the other person to respond in a really honest way. Now, you might have to overcome a little bit of vanity. I know I'm making sense. I've explained this to 100 people 100 times, but the point isn't to pump up your ego. It's to use an emotionally intelligent strategy to facilitate communication that's way more likely as a result that you will get what it is that you want and what the other person needs. That they really feel like they have understood you and that you know that you have communicated the message well. All right, so then the last phrase, which really isn't a phrase at all, and that is saying absolutely nothing. That old saying, don't just stand there, do something. Well, people with very high emotional intelligence actually think the opposite or prefer the opposite, which is don't just do something, stand there. Or don't just say anything, keep quiet. So saying nothing means that you're not saying something stupid, or you're not saying something reactory, or you're not saying something that without thinking. You're actually giving yourself some time when you take that pause to think before you reply. All right, so let me give you an example. Let's just say that you're in a negotiation and you make an offer and then the other person makes a counter offer. Now, instead of continuing in that conversation, you just stay quiet for a little bit. Now it's your turn to talk, but you're not saying anything. Now, as a result, you get to seize control of your emotions, and you also get to control theirs. So maybe the other person's wondering if they've killed the deal or not because you're not responding. Or maybe they bring up the counteroffer before because you haven't said anything. So car dealerships often use like this two-word phrase to take advantage of people's natural inclination to want to say something. Because as human beings, when there's silence like that, it's like we feel like we need to fill the space. And in sales, once you've made the offer, there is this old saying that goes, whoever speaks first owns it. So, we want to make sure that, you have that little bit of a space. So, okay, let's say that you're in the car dealership and car dealer's like, yeah, we can find a great car for you. What's your budget? Now you would say, yeah, I could go up to about 25,000. So then the dealer responds and goes up to, now, probably every customer that they've ever dealt with would take the bait and reply with a higher number and go, well, okay, maybe I could go up to 29,000. So do you see the power of saying nothing? Sometimes that pause can really help a conversation, it can help negotiation, and it can help in a sales situation. So I'd love to know, after listening to this video today, do you feel like you are emotionally intelligent? Are you already using some of these phrases? And do you have any other tips that could really help our community? Now, if you do, please leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to the My Movies YouTube channel for more videos on personal growth and the law of attraction. Now, before you go, and if you'd like another powerful tool that could really help you to overcome your limiting beliefs and take action towards your goals, then make sure you click on the link in the description box below. It's a free quiz. It only takes 30 seconds, and you'll uncover what's blocking your success and what to do about it. My name is Natalie Ledwell. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.